Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Today we're doing the History of Grooming series, and we're in Yorkshire today. So we're talking to somebody who's been in and involved around these issues and seen a lot of these issues going on. So first of all, Baji, just give us your name and what area you're from.
My name's Jeet Singh. I'm from Yorkshire, West Yorkshire.
We proactively talk about sexual grooming and how it affects the Punjabi Sikh community. And obviously you've been in and involved in issues, you've seen a lot over the years. So this is going down memory lane a bit, but we want to talk about some of the issues that we faced as a community and what you saw growing up and regarding these current affairs, which have got really bad now. But before, it wasn't as bad, but it was still existed and it was quite serious.
It existed. The reason why it's only got bad now is because we got more social media, other ways of trafficking girls, grooming girls. But in my times, I got active through organisations in the early 90s, mid 90s. But what it was kind of thing more there was at schools, at universities, at colleges. What was used in like Bhangra gigs. They were doing a lot of Bhangra gigs. Also, a big one, what was a big problem with the grooming was they had these daytimers. Now these daytimers, as you could imagine, was done through the daytime. We had all these Bhangra artists backing these gigs. Now these gigs was a target zone for taxi drivers. Taxi drivers was a big problem, turning up to these gigs, waiting outside with their friends and everything. Now, alcohol does not meant to be permitted in these places, but there was. So, what happened was these gigs, another target area, college areas. All these Bhangra gigs were target areas. Taxi driver was a big problem. So we had to set up an organisation where we had to deal with taxi drivers on these gigs. That was our main goal, to confront these taxis. There was no other way we could have done it but to confront them. So we would confront them, deal in a situation, deal with it in a way. Yeah, of course there was confrontation sometimes, but we knew what we was facing. They knew what they were doing, and so we'd face it kind of like that. Now we went on a mission to stop these daytime gigs. We were hated on because we would stop their gigs and everything, but they didn't understand why, unless it was someone in their family who was there. Now, you're talking middle school kids attending these places, definitely high school. It wasn't just colleges, it was high school. So a lot of girls from high school would go. You can imagine they're leaving their home at 8, 9 o'clock, saying bye to their parents, to the siblings. I'm off to school. But they would get changed and go to these gigs.
So they stick in their same routine, their normal daily routine, but then so their parents would think they'd be deceitfully going here.
Yeah, so they would tend to these daytime gigs. Now, as soon as they got there, they had the Bhangra music was playing and everything. There was drinks sold in there. What was soft drink? It was not hard for someone to supply alcohol there. Alcohol was provided. Drugs was provided. These taxi drivers and their friends would turn up with more alcohol. The girls are already there. They're young. They're easy pickings. And a lot of the Punjabi guys, their main goal was just to get drunk. So they would get drunk, and that's it. They were struck on. There was taxi drivers pick them up outside. Now I remember going to these gigs with our organisation and confronting them in taxis, where we would go in and these taxi men were in their 30s, 40s. These girls were from high school, probably younger. Sit in the back, 3, 4. They would be taken to the parks. More drugs would be provided. More alcohol would be supplied, and you can imagine what went on.
Yeah, of course.
And it continued on this. So even that happened in Bhangra gigs. So a lot of these gigs would start having, like a lot of Bhangra gigs now. We talked about the letter Khalifa. What came out. we actually went to London at that time when that concerns came up. And I remember the late 90s, it's very, very intense. There was graffiti on the wall. A lot of graffiti on the wall. They were insulting. We talk about hatred, religious hatred. Now this is what I'm talking about, religious hatred. And I'm gonna kind of tell you how it was. There was pictures drawn of our gurus. So all this was going on. There was brothels set up at restaurants. There was brothels, you know, they have this like dance where these dancers would come and everything. Their main goal was to get a seat girl there. A main goal was to get a seat girl. So they'd have these dances, they would have brothels. All these cases kept going on and on and on, and we kept hearing about them. So we had to go do our thing, raid some of them if we had to save some girls because the family would contact us. So we did that, and we took some out from these brothels. Also, cases at restaurants, taxi drivers, again, one of the main sources, taxi bases as the main sources. You know, it was kind of, this was a regular occurrence in the late 90s.
It was widespread, and we know this. Obviously, it was happening up and down the country. We know it, you know it. We were all working proactively, and we still are trying to do our best to address it. You know, obviously, historically, there's been some horrific cases. Recent years comes to mind, Leicester. You know, previously there's been many. You know, what's probably the worst situation you've seen?
Well, I was explaining to one of the sims upstairs, was a case we had where the father wanted to come along. Now, we had a phone call. This was out of Leeds, in the next town. We had a phone call that it was not just one of his daughters, it was two of his daughters had gone missing. So we went down now. We found out who the guy was. It was started from a young lad approaching one of our girls, chatting to him, talking to him, kind of doing the Bollywood role. Yeah. Now, Bollywood's played in our houses all the time. They love Bollywood music, so they kind of work on this Bollywood theme, you know, PR, love and all this and that. So we're giving it to these young girls now. And so we got the call that she's definitely been taken to this restaurant. Like a takeaway, very dirty takeaway, kebab house. We've caught down now, a couple of cars have gone down with us. We've walked into the building, we've confronted them straight away on the front because we knew that it was upstairs. So we knew that upstairs is where it was taking place. As soon as we went upstairs, I remember going into the flat, like a flat upstairs. There was one door here, one door, and one door in the front. So we started kicking all the doors in. As soon as I kicked the door in, someone before me kicked the door in, we raided into the flat. There was two girls naked on a dirty mattress. Two girls naked on a dirty mattress, and there was roughly about 6-8 guys stood around. About 4 or 5 of them naked on top of these girls. We started straight away taking them off the girls, and the girls naked. It was just like a horrific rape, horrible kind of orgy kind of thing going on here. And when we pulled back and we took I didn't even know the age of the girls, so I pulled back. These girls were young. These girls were young, and it was so sad to see that these girls, even though it might sound so crazy, but this is what stuck in my mind, weren't even women. They were still young girls. So we went down. Now, our initial thought was cover them up first. So we looked out, took our jackets, covered it up. We've tried to pick the girls up. They were that intoxicated, they couldn't stand. Two of them. One, we found out, was 12, and the other one was 13, two sisters. And the two sisters didn't even know they were naked next to each other. And we picked them up, took them downstairs, took them out of the takeaway. Still, there was confrontation everywhere going on. We took them downstairs. The father wanted to come with them. Well, we didn't want him to. We wanted to come. He was at the bottom of the stairs. The towel, or one of the jackets fell off the girl. Because she was falling about, naked. So he saw her child, naked, coming out of the room with 6, 7 naked guys being thrown down the stairs, basically. So at the same time, so his father just started crying straight away. So we remember cases like that. Now, I've done cases That's one case. I've done a case where we've rescued a girl and brought her back, where we found out where the house was. The guy just left her there after he drove off, left her there. She was still holding a teddy bear. This is how young this girl, she was still holding a teddy bear. And when I sat with her, and I was only young myself, I said, did you take your teddy bear with you? She goes, he goes where everywhere I go. A teddy bear. She was going to be raped, but we saved her. We saved her, we brought her back up there. Now, none of us really could speak on that day because we wanted to kind of tell you know what would have happened. But we're just so glad it didn't happen.
Yeah, of course.
We took her back to the family and we told her family to explain to her what would happen. Because at the end of the day, in our organisation at that time was only men.
Yeah.
And even though, you know, it's our sisters, we still felt shut up. Do you know what I mean? To explain to them what was going to take place. So we saw a lot of cases like that. A lot of in colleges, schools, cars taken into parks where girls were so intoxicated. We would pull up on these cars, taxi drivers' cars, Asian car drivers, and they were just intoxicated.
Yeah, and this is one of the main tactics they use, is to intoxicate, drug and control the young child or the victim or the vulnerable adult. Sometimes it happens while they're at unis. They're still kids, but they're vulnerable and they're adults. And sometimes the police don't look at that and take that as serious. But on a Sikh perspective, when a child goes to university, they're on their own, they're away from their family. So to us, they're very vulnerable. Yeah. So obviously these are horrific cases, and it's bringing back a lot of stories, and we're going back down memory lane. So it's really important that the Sangat know how serious and this ongoing issue that our community have been dealing with, and we're still proactively dealing with it, which means that we haven't got nowhere. We're still doing the same thing, and we need to advance this. We need more people, professionals on board supporting it. It's not down to things to keep coming back and doing the same thing. We need everything and all angles covered, so we need professional. We need to challenge the system that's happening, and that's one of the things. As long with challenging the perpetrators, along with protecting our sisters and going in and bringing them home, because this is what goes on. And like I said, Sultan, this is real. This is before this used to happen. Now it's got even more worse with social media, where people are doing things and blackmailing and revenge porn goes on. There's a lot of that going on. New laws coming out daily. You know, coming from the 90s now, and obviously we were in that era, and now, what do you think the biggest challenges we face as a community?
Social media. Social media seems to be the big one, because at the end of the day, in order for a sex predator to prey or victimize someone, they have to physically meet that person, or even through conversation or through phone call, but eventually meet that person. At that time, not a lot of people had mobiles, so it was done literally pulling up at colleges and universities and schools and these gigs. But now it's social media. Now there's a lot on social media. What girls don't seem to understand is showing nudity on cameras, thinking that this guy's, you know, even pretending to be someone out of another faith, or even, you know, like they show the nudity, but it backfires on them. They use it against them
all the time. It's that control aspect,
and that's what it is. But you got to remember, so even though there might be solo predators, there's gang predators. Gang predators is a bigger thing behind a one person. So it could be even a person from the same age group who's chatting to you, but behind him, this is what I want to clarify. Behind him, there's a professional gang. There's a professional grooming gang, and their main goals is to have him forward to bring her in.
Yeah, he's the bait. He lands her in.
So basically, he interacts at the same age, tries to show the same interest, but as soon as she's hooked and he's got her and does all the love things, he eventually he'll be the first person to have sexual intercourse. From there, he will try to trap her. Videos, alcohol, abuse. I'll tell your parents. I'll tell you this and that. Your name. Come back and meet this guy. They're invited back to places where there's more men. Once they go there, obviously the men take shares, and some of these, you know, girls are forced or led into having sexual intercourse with grown men, married men. You know what I mean? Married men, and it's kind of, then that's it.
Yeah.
There's no way out for her. This girl is now a property, a sex slave.
Just to finish off, Baji, now obviously there's a lot of active organisations and Sevadas across the country like yourself, like us, like a lot of work. How would you like to tell the Sangha to get involved, and how important is it right now as Sikhs and as Punjabis, that message and the work we're doing goes on in the community?
Well, I think it's a responsibility as well for the family members to acknowledge what's happening, where the kids are. They've got to take an active role instead of being. I know it's hard. You're running your house, you're running work, you're running there. You do this. You think your kids are safe. You've got to be more active. They've got to have knowledge. Don't shy away.
Definitely.
It's not going to happen for my family. Yeah. Don't shy away, because I can guarantee you now, and I'll say this with confidence, that either someone you know or some member in your family has been a victim, or could be a victim, or was in the way to be a victim. Guaranteed. There's someone connected to someone. So, you learn about your awareness yourself. You know what I mean? It's like there's all these organisations set up and everything, yeah? Instead of saying, if something happens, I could turn to this organisation. It doesn't like that. You got to prevent it.
Yeah.
Prevention is the cure.
Prevent is a cure.
So prevent it.
Preventing is vital, because without the prevent,
with
the prevent, you're safeguarding your family.
Don't think it's never going to happen in my house, because nothing like that happens in my house. My children, my girls are not like that. It never will happen in my house. It'll only happen in other people's houses, because some of these girls, could be the highest graded intelligent girls, as I've seen them in university, where they've slipped up, videos are made, and they're trapped.
Yeah.
This is a common thing. I know, like, highly educated girls who are trapped like that, by video, and they become, it's best, and they think it's best to keep doing what I'm doing to keep my family on it, because you know what I mean. So it could be. It's not class. It's not about class.
Yeah.
It's you've got to be awareness. So be aware yourself. Watch what your kids are doing if they're young, even when they're adults. Still, you're sending them to university. Don't get caught up in I want to go partying. I want to go drink. Look at your own first. Look where your girls could be. What's the dangers? Talk to them. Be realistic. Don't give this like we're in this. Punjabis are turning into this like Bollywood thing now. I always say it, they're turning into like a Bollywood thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, we live in this happy life and everything. Nothing's gonna happen. We live this life. We go, and my daughter's doing this, my daughter's doing that. But reality is, it's scary out there. It's scary. These guys, these sexual predators, prey. And they work and they target and they don't give up.
Yeah.
They don't give up. They will never give up, right? One case will always happen after the other case. So you got to be more aware yourself, in your family, your sisters, in your daughters. Look out for the signs. We all know the signs. You've gone through to that. They can watch your video to see the signs. Pinpoints of the signs. Look out for them things. Yeah, and speak about it.
That conversation is important.
Conversation. There is like yourself, and different organisation where they're confidential, but you have to speak about it. Don't sit there knowing that this is happening and you sat there hopeless. Because at the end of the day, and I'm going to say this now, we're all with you. At the end of if there's a girl in your family, she's our girl as well. Do you know what I mean? She's still our sister.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? She's still. We treat her like a family member. We don't turn our backs. We don't do that. We're Sikhs. We don't turn our back on anyone who needs help. So we'll always be there. But we're saying to yourself, be vigilant yourself. You're Sikhs at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? You're Sheradikom. Do you know what I mean? So you got to be able to front it. You got to be able to deal with it. Be intelligent, be smart, know what the signs are. That's what I'm saying,
No, definitely. Thank you for your time today. Any last messages to the Sangha before we finish off?
Well, I want to say my final one is, look, there's still people in our community, Punjabi community, when I say to them and I tell them about cases, they're shocked. I can't believe this. Or they see videos of this, talks and say, I didn't know this was going on. And I'm thinking to myself, either you've buried your head in the sand like an ostrich, but you know every Bollywood star, every Bollywood movie, what's going on. You know every singer, you can sing every song. But these things, what matter in our band and in our community, what will affect our community, do you know what I mean? Destroy our community. It's like they buried their heads in the sand. They don't want to talk about it. It's like, but they'll know about every single. They'll know when the next Gaddafi man's coming and this and that. But I get a lot of people say to me, "There goes Jit again talking about grooming." Oh, he's always on about that. He's always on about Shaheeds, this and that, Shaheeds. But these are things in our history. These are most of the time. I don't talk about Bollywood. I don't talk about Punjabi singers. I talk about things what really matter. But we need to come more to that. It's like we have to be more aware of what's going in our own community.
Definitely. So I want to thank you for your time today. Thank the Sangat for listening. We really appreciate the work you're doing in the community and the awareness you're providing. So keep doing what you're doing. We want to thank the camera crew for their time today as well. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.